put it past her tummy. She said, oh, 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 oh. Why do I keep doing that? Sup, it's your unfriendly raid rat neighbor Kevin Carnage. This is part 2 of what if DEKU was Carnage. Nigga looking ass like, ooh. But anyway, I won't be doing a recap since I did this yesterday. And basically, it did, you know what, no explanation towards it. Big shout out to Sixmeister, the one who created this thumbnail for me. Kid Zeus of Kid Zeus Studios, Zoku Meister, Leon Meister, number 8, just to name a few. These are what if creators that I think are amazing. Check the link out in the description. Go to their page and tell them the Carnage sent you. So let's buggy into this situation with a little time skip. So before DEKU actually did the entrance exam, he went on, in front of MHA and admire All Might's alma mater and shit like that. Alma mater. Given so, his cool persona doesn't stop him from being a little bit clumsy. So he does. We still need that very fucking that scene where he trips. And he still gets saved by Uraraka. This is the reason why he actually pummeled the 0 pointer in the last part, in the last scene, or in the last story, or whatever. And given his various luck with the opposite sex, he didn't seem as much interested in having a girlfriend. Even though he's always been surrounded by girls. In middle school, it was like he only was in middle school for like 2 to 3 years, but he was like the hottest thing in the school for the girls. He'd be like a show I watched, I benched watched Wallflower, where every girl was tripping off of one specific dude, but his parents were normal as fuck, but he was like fucking fine as fuck. Pause. Unpause, then pause again. But yeah, he basically was something similar to that, where girls fawned over him obsessively. But this specific girl kind of took him by surprise, with him actually shedding off a little bit of his exterior persona, getting noticeably nervous as the girl says, "Oh, be careful there." Ew. But anyway, and he turned around and tells her, he finally gets his balance and get on his, stand on his own 2 feet, and told the girl hi back. As she mentioned, her name was Uraraka, some bullshit. I don't remember her last name. With Izuka saying that his name is Izuku Midora, nice to meet you, blah blah blah. A conversation started and they walked to class, or walked into the exam together and stuff. So that little tidbit I had to get out in there. And another little tidbit where we flash into another scene where Carnage and Cletus Cassidy was placed under a liquid nitrogen type gas, so they're not nigga, stop saying that. So Carnage and Cletus Cassidy have been frozen since then, but what we don't really know is that Carnage, even though he's inside Cletus Cassidy's bloodstream, he still is able to eat him. Regardless of some shit, he could, if Cletus Cassidy was eating Carnage could have survived. I'm just speculating at this moment in time. So it's based on that stupid other anime that I watched, Parasite, where Parasite gets his nutrient from that guy he abducted the arm from and shit. And if you all didn't know, I kind of wiggled my arm when I imagined that anime, because Migi was the name of that little arm thingy. He looked freaky as fuck. But anyway, we're skipping past what we were getting at. I apologize. So Carnage has been eating Cletus Cassidy, slowly regaining his strength, and none beknown to the scientist who is still fucking sticking drills into the fucking liquid nitrogen, taking out samples from basically what is just Carnage himself, because Cletus Cassidy is basically almost completely digested, meaning this is basically just Carnage, and he's just keeping his shape. After a little while later on, we hear alarms buzzing because oh, that nigga escaped. And remember that I said they keep sticking drills into him and stuff like that. So one of the drill hole was big enough for him to, you know, tunnel through, entered one of the scientists, and escaped. So yeah, we're gonna break off there for a little while. So we're starting off after all that shit happened. That's happening. There haven't been any big news about it in the fucking for the eyes of the public, because they don't want to cause mass panic. They know what Carnage reputation is, and he ain't gonna do anything right now because he's trying to lay low and stuff. So so we get to where Deku tries on his new uniform and shit, and his mom is very proud of him and stuff. Oh, and Inko knows about the Carnage symbiote. In fact, it's just similar to what happened to Spider-Man, where that other fat guy walked in. One day, Inko walked in while Carnage and Deku was testing out their range of movements, like how far they could stay apart before they actually feel any effect, like and stuff. So Inko walked in as they were like trying to fuse back together, and she screamed, and Deku reassured her that it's him and blah blah blah, because she thought that Deku was some alien after all that incident from Oscorp's bullshit and stuff. So Inko knows about Carnage, and she actually thinks of Carnage as a second son. And for plot convenience, we'll say that Deku has an older brother, which will be revealed later on. No, it won't be revealed later on. Let's just time skip for a little while. We're gonna time skip for all that shit that does happen in canon. Happens with Deku winning majority. The changes of it is that Deku is number one throughout the entire sports festival, with the League of Villains still attacking, but stuff happened that the League of Villains were unsuccessful in their attempt to intimidate the students of MHA. So and stuff. So everyone trained harder than in canon, because they all know of Deku's overwhelming strength, ability, speed, and intelligence. So remember the entrance exam? So everybody kind of got the recording of what happened then. So everybody is like, we can't let this little green face looking ass, a green hair looking ass boy show us up at every turn. So before all that sports festival stuff, everyone trained to the max of what they could do. So everybody is thanks to the influence of one person, the entire class got a tad more serious in their endeavor to defeat Deku. At this moment, Deku is hella OP. I granted to you. I told you that Deku has the God factor, or to be understandable enough, the God DNA or the God genetics. So This doesn't grant him any fucking fancy light show or any of that. It just grants him immense strength, speed, and durability. So it's almost like he already had one for all. I mean, one for all. Um, yeah, one for all. It's like he already had one for all, but a more potent strand of it. I mean, like not a potent strand of it. It's like one for all isn't as strong as what DEKU is at this moment. Let me say as is, but combining the both of them would make DEKU even stronger than he is now, which would probably be later on in this one. Oh, and granted, this is going to be the finishing finale. This is the what if special finale. I should have said that in the beginning of the episode of this. I'm just gonna put it as title. So y'all, if I'm gonna put it as title and I'm saying it like 10 minutes into the video, it's gonna be totally weird, isn't it? But anyway, I already did it. I'm not re-recording. So yeah. So like I said, everyone trained diligently. So when that happened, it wasn't even like much of a bother. They were disappointed that DEKU still stole the limelight, but they got praise for defending and defeating majority of the villain, because the villain came to the sports festival, if I remembered correctly, and if not, they came to the sports festival to cause bunch of riots and stuff like that. But as the first bomb or the first explosion happened, everyone just got into gear. Hero mode activated. Like, yo, Bakugo went this way, Todoroki went that way. Even the guy that threw the balls off of his head went another way. Given that he's even more perverted now, but stronger perverter. I mean, perverter now. But anyway, they all went into action, securing civilian lives and stuff like this with, no instruction of the word. It was just an explosion and something clicked. Like, ball guy threw some balls at some rocks and stuff, catching, having them stick to each other and catch on the wall so it doesn't land on civilians. Uraraka start touching some shit and start floating some shit. DEKU was like parkouring. Bakugo was like pow pow pow, and flying to where they think since DEKU could sense every malicious intent, I would say that the God factor always also grants him that ability. He locates the villain, rather easily. The villains, because they're multiple. They're multiple villains. So yeah, and seeing this, Bakugo start trailing DEKU because DEKU can pinpoint them. As they're around DEKU, they start getting attacked by the villains as they then band together to attack DEKU. And this is how the League of Villains got apprehended. So in canon, I think majority of them escaped. But in my what if, oh, the fire guy escaped. I'm gonna let one escape. So the main villain, or one of the main villain, will escape from all that chaos and shit like that. So yeah, the guy with the blue fire, Endeavor's son, I'm guessing. I heard, I don't know, I just saw like a reaction, or theory on YouTube. So I'm not sure. I haven't watched MHA for a while, so apologize. I stopped at season 4 and stuff. So yeah, we get to that point and stuff, so that it's over with. We have a time skip again where no, they're, you see. So why would it make sense for them to have a hero practice exam if they already showed that they're capable of responding to danger quicker than in canon? So all that part where they do that hero thingy and then they get attacked by the League of Villain doesn't happen. like in canon, so that shit doesn't happen because then they already proved that they're capable of working under extreme pressure. But what do happen is the training camp. And now, since they didn't have that outer camp, we're going to make the training camp more intense. And before we get into more intense, we're going to have a little love scene happening about now. So they're picking the president, and everybody, even that guy with a booster leg, decided that they're going to vote Midoriya because he's more competent and more intelligent. Everyone already sees that he has high potential, and no one questioned the situation. And so that happened, and the alarm thingy where students got trapped and the stuff like this, Deku kind of I'm gonna say hockey like situation where that nigga just tell everybody to shut up, like on the top of his lungs, shut that. No, so nobody passed out, just everybody shut up, like calm down, no, calm down, it ain't that serious. We're fucking with prestige fucking school. This is a school of fucking All Might. You think our sissies that be in this school? If y'all sissies, my cat bit me. Why? But anyway, if y'all sissies in this school, walk out them doors are locked. Comedic effect and stuff. So I mentioned it was gonna be a romantic scene. Yes, it is. So after all that happened, all the students calmed down, went to their respective area, and the teachers they dealt with the intruding reporters and stuff, and stuff. Uraraka and Deku were chilling, eating, and Uraraka start the conversation of she liked how he handled that. She's like very cute, and she's always asked. Cause then it's been a while now. We're not gonna say all that shit happened in the span of 1 month. You gotta give them time, right? So they have been in MHA for half a year now. So all this time, Deku and Uraraka were getting closer and closer, with Uraraka falling more in love with Deku than in canon, or faster, or more faster. What am I trying to say here? I'm saying rather than finding out that she loves Deku throughout the span of 2 seasons, she knows that she loves Deku after all that Dekus have accomplished, with saving her, constantly being there for her, talking to her. And even though all the other girls were trying to get Deku's attention, Deku gives her his attention more than he would give all the girls clinging to him at a constant time, because he always have some girl fucking rubbing them titties on his arms, some every time, man. Uraraka doesn't do this shit, and I think that's the reason why he kind of admires her and stuff. So she kind of came out and broke that admiration and told Deku she thinks she loves him, and Deku's started blushing. And then again this happens, which with him losing his composure. Deku has this cool persona where nothing phases my little nigga. He's like, so what? But when Uraraka told him that she loved him, or she thought she thinks she loves him, he lose his composure for a brief moment, and didn't actually decline her. He just I think you're interesting too, and we're leaving at that. So technically he just put her in the friend zone, but temporarily. So we're at the training camp where they were in the forest and stuff, and the League of Villain, they hit harder this time, because then after that huge humiliating defeat by minors nonetheless, they came full force with like, you know, I'm gonna end that ass. Y'all young hero gonna die because you have the potential of ruining my plan. This is that guy with the handful face, or the guy with the quirk for decomposition. Yeah, he's like, yeah, he gave all that big speech because then he did at when they were doing that fighting the golem shit and they came together and shit. He didn't, try to lure them to individual fights, but like I've said and then before, all my niggas friends are as not as strong as Deku, but stronger than Canon. So even if you get them one on one, they be tearing that ass. All they start hearing was after that guy with a face thingy, with a face disorder, or with a quirk that's messed up. That's hella cool if you wanna think it that way. He was like, talking to the crowd that was there, and Deku came out of the crowd and being like, I think you're underestimating the class of 1A. Don't you know who we are? We're from the hero branch, nigga. And he didn't say nigga, but I'm gonna say nigga. I'm saying nigga, but he's not saying nigga, so don't get confused with it, right? We're from the hero branch, nigga. Come on, hit that up with something good, and then start hearing screaming from out of the bushes and stuff. And one of Todoroki's men was coming running to him and screaming out, "He's a monster! Help! Help!" And in comes Bakugo with an explosion, grabbing that little nigga from the back up. Pause. Making sure that little nigga doesn't escape, and boom, flying a blast, to change his trajectory, just like he did when he fought Deku in the hero versus villain exam. And flashback again. Yo, I keep doing that flashback thingy. So the hero villain exam did happen in his canon, and instead of Deku being the one to try to prove something to Bakugo, you know what I'm getting with, right? It's the other way around. So Bakugo is trying to reach Deku's level, with Bakugo thinking that Deku looks down on him. So Bakugo is going to try to make, he thought he could have tried to make Deku fight with all his, potential, see what Deku is really made of. And Deku complied with, him acknowledging Bakugo as a true friend, because he didn't say it like before, but he always thought of Deku as a friend. I mean, Bakugo as a friend and stuff. So, and I'm the one calling Deku, just to be, clear. He calls Deku Midoriya. Like, he doesn't call Deku. I'm just calling Deku. So when Bakugo refers to Deku, he's like, Midoriya! And stuff like this, right? So when they did fight and stuff, Bakugo pulled out all the stops. He planned all his moves and stuff, and he kind of he did put Deku on his toes. He made Deku harden his arms and legs, and buffed up his fucking true speed and stuff. Well, not his true full speed, but faster than he usually uses against them. So he got somewhere with Deku in that hero versus villain fight. So when he did do that explosion to stuff, he didn't do it to force Deku to fight all out. He did it to force Deku into a corner with him still getting a point removed and stuff. So he did it strategically, you know what I mean? But he still lost with Uraraka, doing a little hand-to-hand combat. She doesn't evade or anything. She went straight for the fray. She she planned something before then. Had some stuff that, some fire extinguishers that she planned earlier, and when she went in, she went straight to attack Booster Guy, and the Booster Guy, you know, thought she was gonna go for the thing, but she attacked him, and after that, a little taijutsu battle happened there. I know I said taijutsu, but then a little scuffle infused between both of them, with Guy, losing balance. His suit is fucking heavy. A taijutsu fucking fight isn't what that suit is built for. It's like built for speed and fucking emergency, like shit like that. And like, so close combat battle. Yes, of course, Booster Guy would be disadvantaged in that situation. So he was disadvantaged in a sense that stuff. So in the other scene where Bakugo had pushed Deku to use a little bit more power than he frequently used, got happy for it and stuff, but still lost at after all the dust ensues. Bakugo was on the floor, passed out, and the buzz around with what's her face getting the bomb. So we get back to the training camp arc where he used the same move he used on Deku to catch up to the villain and then blast him directly in the face. Like, it's like a pow! So the guy with the mask with his face and his remaining flunkies were like, really fucked up, because then they brought more men this time than they brought in canon to start with, and more men than they sent for the festival, and they all got defeated with the individual students dragging a few bodies along with them. They're not dead, they're just passed out and stuff. So the guy got really, really angry, and then he's like, "It's you," to Deku, like, to Deku, "It's you. You're the anomaly. You. But then his subordinate told him that if they wiped out our entire crew, we better get out of here and stuff. So they did ditch that situation. But what we're gonna get at this moment is Muscular didn't leave. Muscular didn't leave at all. He was like, busy chasing that little boy who sprayed Deku. No, he sprayed Bakugo this time, but in canon, he sprayed Deku. But Deku kind of seemed charming, and he kind of simped for Deku then and there. No homo. The guy, I don't know if the little boy was gay, and I'm not referring to his gay, but he simped over Deku as he saw Deku, so he sprayed Bakugo instead. And so Muscular, caught up to him first, like, he saw him first, so he prioritized, chasing the little nigga, and the nigga then revealed to him that you're the one that killed my parents, and he remembered, him killing his parents and stuff, like, I'm just referencing, if you understand, just know that Muscular killed the little boy's parents, and the little boy told Muscular that he's the one that killed the boy's parents, and Muscular laughed after it, remembering the boy's parents. And as Muscular was about to, he deliver a huge punch to the little boy, which would one shot the boy immediately. They won't even, they would just be crushed, pancake looking ass boy on the floor if that would have connected. And like I said, if that would have connected. But Deku came from nowhere and delivered a a roundhouse kick, like, watch out, pow, in Muscular's face, and stuff, with Muscular flying into the side of the mountain, because they were on a mountainside. So yeah, and stuff, and I want to say he one shot Muscular, but it wasn't enough to finish Muscular off with him, compacting muscles around his neck area, because then that was Deku's intention of doing, like, severely injuring Muscular, because he was going after a little boy. There wasn't going to be any sympathy there. And Deku kind of, admired the little boy because what he did to Bakugo earlier on in the series. I didn't mention what he did, but I mentioned what he did, but I didn't detail how he did it. I just mentioned it and stuff. And Muscular did then get up, and a little fucking another fucking fisticuff happens between Muscular and Deku, with Deku taking punches, Muscular taking some punches, Deku taking some punches, and Muscular taking some punches. But then you can see that Muscular ain't taking them punches like too well, and Deku's like brushing off his punches like, what's going on? What's going on? But again, remember that Carnage could harden Deku's skin, or Carnage could harden his molecular structures, I'm guessing. So every time Muscular is punching Deku, he's causing more harm to himself rather than Deku. You know what I mean? So Deku hasn't been feeling a tad of any of Muscular's punches. And I'm not gonna be like, what is going on? Yay! And so Deku finally got enough of this, and then poured all of his energy, or finally revealing his full strength, to be exact. Finally just telling Muscular that using my full strength on someone, using my full strength will cause someone to die, but you could take it, right, Muscular? You could take all my strength. With him delivering a fucking punch so devastating that Muscular stood in one spot. Like, he didn't go anywhere. The punch was so fast and so devastating that the mountain behind Muscular shattered. Like, it just shattered, and Muscular just fell to the floor. Has game over. Wants to get so punched so fast that the mountain behind you shatters. You ain't get enough from that. He's not dead, but Muscular is completely a vegetable now. His rib cage, his spinal cord, them shit just cracked like toothpick. Like, yeah, I got too graphical with that. So, boom, we time skip to where they go on, summer break, with most of Deku's time spent with his now girlfriend. Yeah, that incident happened where Deku did pass out afterwards and stuff, and Uraraka was so worried that she went up in the mountain regardless of danger, and she used her quirks so much that she got sick, but then overcome her sickness, and her quirk evolved to you see that girl that could fly all the time using like stuff. She could use her quirk without getting sick now, so she could float her body without touching her hands, and she could just she could think about floating, and she floats. It's not technically flying, she's just levitating certain meters off the ground. So if she falls off of a fucking high building, and if she doesn't time her stuff properly, she's gonna die. You understand what I'm getting at? So it's not that OP is yet. It's gonna get OP later on, though. I mean, not later on, because I'm gonna end this off with a bang in a minute. I mean, not in a minute. We have like a couple more minutes to go, because this is an hour video. It's the finale of the fucking special. So hit it up. I'm gonna take this swing. So yeah, majority of it was spent with his now girl. Oh, I was mentioning what happened with him turning, they're finally, in a relationship, right? So Deku did pass out, and the guy, the boy was too small to carry Deku around, so he kind of had a cell phone or a distress beacon with him, and this is how Uraraka kind of caught, because the cat guy, that huge guy in the cosplay costume, gave her the signal of the beacon thingy and stuff. And after arriving there, seeing Deku passed out on the ground, she kind of thought he died and shit like that, and she ran to him, picked him up, and she started crying and stuff. And she's like, Deku, no, give him back, give him back. And Deku finally, gained a little bit of, consciousness, and then he touched her head, and she cried, folk noticed that he's still alive and stuff, and she's like, then and there, Deku fell in love with Uraraka, as she looked cuter, even though she had tears and snot running down her face. To him, she looked like an angel coming from heaven to bestow upon him the emotion love. 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 What am I doing? Anyway, so that happens. Not only did he spend most of his time with Uraraka, he spent he spent a few time in a laboratory where he has been gathering up all the artificial symbiote, and he's doing some scientific fucking work in his little room right there, because he did have a little scientific room that he's renting and stuff, and he constantly is asking All Might for a vial of his blood and stuff. So what we're getting at is Deku is going to be using the artificial symbiote, since they have no let's say their only purpose was to locate Carnage at this moment. They don't have anything, like, let's say they're just they're like stem cells. They're cells that hasn't been written genetic code or anything inside them. They're like, I'm not using stem cells when they have a bad reputation. It's gonna be fucking costly, but I have to. So Deku is doing some scientific jargon inside his lab, also going on date with Uraraka. Also, like I said, he keeps asking All Might for vials of his blood. He has been training with All Might for just training's sake. It's not like he necessarily needs to train, but it's in his habit. It's in his habit. It's his habit now. So he trains with All Might various time of the week and stuff. So couple days is focused on Uraraka, couple days is focused on whatever he's doing in that laboratory of his, and another few days is focused on training with All Might and stuff. So boom, the swimsuit episode is over, even though I haven't put any graphical details of swimsuit episode, but just know there was something happened at the beach. Simple as that. There had to be a beach episode in there somewhere, so I referenced the beach. So y'all imagine Deku in some in some short shorts, and Uraraka in a yellow bikini. Specifically, a yellow bikini. She be thick. Oh, anyway, I'm not editing that on my screen. I'm not editing for a while now. So, But anyway, so again, we time skip all that naughtiness, and we time skip to a period where now they've been introduced to, other other schools of, other hero schools, yeah. where they gotta get hit by bugs and stuff. So that happened with Deku again, turning that into a piece of cake as per usual. But not only Deku this time though. So the entire class of 1A actually passed that one, like, to get their hero license. That's what I meant to say. So to get their hero license and stuff. So they all passed. The class of 1A all passed that shit, because then, like I said, because of the influence, or because of Deku's overwhelming aura, caused everyone to try to catch up, or some of them to try to defeat Deku, such as Icy Hot, Bakugo, that guy with weird arms, this shadow dude with the bird thingy from his chest. So they all train to defeat Deku for various reasons. The other boys tries to train to defeat Deku because they want the gain attention from the other opposite sex. They keep doting for Deku or simping for Deku, so they're annoyed by that. Even when Deku declared that he and Uraka are dating, and he said that shit as school started. I'd be like, yo everyone, so me and Ura are dating now, so we're Ura Deku now. Yeah. So try not to make my girlfriend jealous too much, and can you please stop clinging to me? That stuff annoys me. I can't walk properly. And y'all short as hell and stuff. So that was irrelevant and stuff. So they all got their hero license, and apart with the stuff with getting equipments to go with their quirk, that happens as well. So the part with Stang, yeah. So we're getting with that part now. So Stang did kind of paralyzed his brother, Booster Guy's brother and stuff. So Booster Guy did want revenge. He still finally does meet Sting, and Sting kind of saw that at that moment Booster Guy wasn't going with Sting's code, but before then he was. But Booster Guy wanted revenge, so it's not Sting's code, and he kind of did Booster Guy a little dirty, man. Not a little dirty. Different from canon. He fucked Booster Guy's shit up. I mean, that guy got beat bad, bruh. He didn't get paralyzed or shit like that. But he's gonna be a while in the hospital. I'm gonna give you that shit. He be down for a while. He be MIA for his time. He be going like, boo boo, baby. Nigga won't need his face ID recognition ain't gonna recognize shit. No. Wait, what were we doing? So Booster Guy did get his ass whooped, with finally Deku, and Bakugo, arriving to all that commotion, because Booster Guy was making a fucking whole lot of commotion and shit. He blowed up a lot of shit and stuff. And seeing Sting standing over Booster Guy and seeing blood dripping from Stang's hands and seeing Booster Guy on the floor kind of sent both Deku and Bakugo into a fit of rage, storming at Sting with no plan or intention, just pure rage, hitting him a few distance away, causing Sting to lose his mind, because then there's a bunch of heroes just calling themselves heroes, but they would inflict the violence if one of their friends get hurt. This is not what heroism about, blah 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 blah. All Might is worthy. And all of that shit was being recorded and stuff, and he said it before he got captured, so mind you me, that nigga be bossing. That nigga now be busting, food be busting. What the fuck? I'll blow ass laying ass, but anyway, so that big fight starts with Bakugo and Deku and Sting, with them finally, snapping out of their fit of rage because they found out that they don't know the guy, Booster guy, is still alive and well. He's just plastic surgery is gonna help later on. Nigga ain't gonna look like himself. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna change that shit. Booster guy gonna need plastic surgery, which he's going to be getting, and stuff. So people will be making fun of him because the doctor kind of made him look like we're fighting. So you have the classic parkour stuff happening with Deku and Bakugo leaping from stuff and keeping Sting on his toes, mind you, me less, and having a hard time because Booster guy did mutter under the last little breath. Not the last little breath, but before he completely passed out, that his quirk works with blood. Like his quirk, like with a voice of "you're in pain." He told the boys that his quirk worked. Sting's quirk worked with blood, so tried to avoid the blood, but he didn't get that. Tried to avoid the blood. He just said his quirk works with blood and stuff. So in goes the fray. So Sting is fucking defending right now. These boys ain't giving him no time to collect his thoughts and shit like that. So he finally fucking noticing a pattern that these guys are actually fighting like fucking All Might. They're like, when they're fighting, they're like, even though they're Deku and Bakugo, he's seeing like he's fighting with All Might. So he's fighting with two All Mights? How could this be? No way. And this distracted him much enough to allow Deku and Bakugo to land a devastating punch to left and right of Sting's jaw, having him fly to a distant building, knocking him out, but not completely knocking him out. Now, yes, he's knocked out. He's like a fucking Rock Lee knocked out, still uttering, shit, not shit, but this time he's like, he's uttering to them like, you two, like, like, what's your name and stuff. You are worthy. You are worthy. With another scene, the guy with the palm for a face breaking the television, guys. Before, he did try to recruit Sting like in canon, but Sting wasn't about that shit and stuff. But seeing that he acknowledged his fucking enemy, the one that is causing him such anguish and such fucking anger and devastation, get praised by fucking the third world's greatest villain. Yeah, Sting is gonna classify as one of the world's greatest villain in this sense. Second to One for All. Third to Carnage. I'm thinking third to One for All and second to Carnage, because Carnage is the second most dangerous, villain in MHA, with All for One being down the top list there. So yeah. So yeah, remember that scene or that beginning when I told you Carnage escaped the facility? So somehow the facility Carnage escaped from, and he didn't escape completely. He's still in the specific building, similar to what his son did in the last part. Sad to say, I gotta do a merger of Carnage and One for All. If y'all don't like that, I don't care. So Carnage finally got to the lower level of the prison he was put in, and lo and behold, who's been in prison there? It's One for All, with him not having basically a face. It's kind of hard for him to see who he is talking to. So he and Carnage was holding a conversation with Carnage, vowing or telling him that he could be his eyes if he just let me in, with All for One being like, who do you think you are? I am All for One, the god of this world. Blah blah blah. Shit like that. So guys, we all know All for One is somewhat of a narcissist. So I'm assuming he would say some shit like this. But finally, agreeing, and similar to what happened to DEKU, a fusion happened with both party, not feeding on each other or not harming each other in any sense. Just that they amplify each other's abilities. Yeah. So that's what happened to the DEKU as well, where the Carnage and him fused, and they amplify each other's ability, with DEKU having the God factor and stuff. So we're also gonna have All for One have the God factor to explain that this is why it happened. So whoever has the God factor and merges with a symbiote and shit like this, could merge with a symbiote perfectly. So there will be a perfect merger of two beings with, two beings, two minds in one body, but they have separate corporal form, I'm thinking. Anyway, screw that shit. That's too much explanation to the situation. So another alarm ensued, but this is between that 6 months, because the 6 months passed, and Carnage was just slithering around trying to avoid much people as he can till he arrived to where All for One was being kept and stuff. So when they fused, they became the perfect merger, finally breaking out of the prison and stuff. So we get to the point where DEKU and Uraraka were having lunch, discussing their plan for Christmas, because Christmas is right around the corner, right? And even though DEKU had told his mom that she has a girlfriend, he has not introduced her to his mother as of yet. So that plan was, that she spend the weekend or the Christmas with her family, with his family. Telling that because throughout summer break he spent time with Uraraka's family and stuff. So Christmas, that's what they're gonna do. But we're way into the future at this moment in time. They're just talking about it. So DEKU then asked Uraraka, or told Uraraka, that he'll be gone for a little while throughout the weekend, because he and All Might need to go visit a friend of his. And this is like that, if this is a scene from the movie where he goes to the friend and stuff, and DEKU and him been talking, but DEKU doesn't uses his original name. He uses Mr. D, as then All Might's friend uses Mr. M, and they've been talking about adding a certain element to All Might to regenerate his missing limbs, or his missing parts. And yeah, lo and behold, finally y'all get what DEKU has been doing throughout summer break, collecting symbiotes and asking All Might for a blood sample, all this while with him asking DEKU, why do you need all that shit? And DEKU be like, don't worry about it. And now that they're on that, the man-made island and stuff, as they arrive, DEKU, came out of the elevator, because then I barfed. I keep barfing when I drink that stuff. Why? But anyway, that's not what I was getting at with this. So Deku came out the elevator, leaving All Might inside the elevator, and all of a sudden gas started filling the elevator. So they gassed or drugged All Might so he could pass out because they wanted to surprise him with what they were planning. And yes, they still need to sedate the nigga while they're doing the surgery and stuff with All Might's little friend. Remember in canon, he actually was working with various individual to steal one of his own invention. Remember that? So this is not what is going to happen. That canon stuff, like the villain is still going to be trying to steal his invention, is going to be happening. But we're gonna have to deal with this surgery because that is on the works. It's happening as we're speaking, but it hasn't reached that point where it's noticeable yet. They're planning, or they're getting everything ready and stuff. They're hiring them, and they're doing their secretly stuff. So when the big day happens and stuff, it'll be like weeks away, and All Might is already completed his surgery on his way to recovery and stuff. But he would not be able to do shit even if so. So they knocked out All Might in the elevator, and Deku and All Might's little friend shows up with All Might finally a tad bit conscious, and Deku looking at him and says, when the next you wake up, you're gonna be a whole new man. Yeah. Right? So my boy is like finally passed out. Where we get a scene with Deku in a fucking, a doctor robe, his partner, All Might's little friend in a doctor robe and stuff like this. And the operation starts with one scalpel being placed on a table, showing that they're operating on Deku, All Might, with the scalpel having a tad of blood on it. So we cut from that scene and stuff. So Deku is now roaming out the hall because there is going to be a festival happening in a few, like, I don't know, so that's how the robbers and stuff is going to be happening because of the festival, and they're already trying to make their way into it to make it easier for them. So Deku is talking to All Might's friend's daughter, with she revealing that she's also a quirkless, like she doesn't have a quirk, but her mind, her intelligence was so vast because of her father, and her father is a scientific doctor, if I remember correctly. And yeah, so she invents gadget for heroes, and she asked him if he's a hero, and he's like, yeah, I already got my hero license and stuff. I'm just needed to complete a few other courses, and I'll be a full-fledged hero. And she also then turned to him and asked him his name, his hero name, with him not really having a hero name yet, and he just spontaneously says, Deku. And she's like, I forgot what the definition of Deku is, but yeah, he says, my hero name is Deku, because he did get called that because it's in his name, right? Yeah, so right. Anyway, so she's like really surprised, and it's like weird name. So she takes him to her little laboratory and shows off a few of his gadget with Carnage really reminiscing on one specific gadget. And this gadget kind of is like, amplify his kind, but Deku, he didn't know that yet. He's just like resonating with it for now. And it's similar that punching hand thingy that he used in canon. I'm gonna say that it was made out of material similar to what the symbiote biology is made out of. So it was like an artificial alloy, but had the anyway. It's something that would increase the Carnage's abilities tenfold. So he kind of stretched out a part of himself out of Deku, with the girl noticing it, and Deku, covering with saying that, his blood has the ability to shapeshift into whatever he wants and stuff. So Carnage then grabs this little device, absorbing it into himself, then manifesting it onto Deku's arms, legs, and stuff, and showing that, giving Deku the sense that he could cover Deku's entire body with this kind of alloy structure or alloy. And it's like the same thing that he used in canon with fighting the guy when they said that his arm would, it helps his arm out with something. Yeah, it's the same little clock thingy that, the nanite clock thingy stuff or whatever that was. Yeah. So we hit him up. The big invasion does happen with All Might still recovering, and flashback. All Might gets up out of his little daze and notice that he's breathing better, and he's not feeling any pain or any sort of pain in his lower abdomen for some reason, and his balance is like, he feels funny. And he finally gets up with a nurse telling him that he's not ready to get up yet. Just press the button on his, on the bedside, which would, automatically raise him to a level that would not tear his new intestine and arteries and stuff like this, because it's fresh out and stuff. So All Might is like, what are you talking about? Huh? I'm All Might. I am here. And as he was getting up and saw what's going on, he's like, what is this? He's touching his stomach, and he has a full side now. He's like, but not only does he have a full side, like his stomach was fully intact, he's in his buff form. He's like, what's going on? How could this be? And he said, then the doctor, explained, the nurse explained to him that, Dr. whatever, Dr. M and Dr. D came up with a procedure that will, allow you to regain your, previous potential, or, and stuff. And it seems that the surgery was a success, but you're still on the road to recovery. So no training yourself at this moment. And she tells him that, you only could eat liquid food for a little while, and you will be, up and running in about a month and a few. We also notified the Hero Association status and stuff, so you no need to worry about your hero duties and stuff. And as she was saying that, an explosion happened. But as this explosion happened, she covered All Might in a force field, because that's her quirk. And another doctor came in, because then they predicted that something like this would have happened, per se, as they were ready for all intent and purposes, any terrorist attack, even if there wasn't gonna be one. So they were like they were not ready for it, like they were anticipating a terrorist attack. They were just ready for it, should in case a terrorist attack happens. And so another little nurse come in, and her ability is to, like, teleport, to random places, but not random, but specific points of the lab, and she, touched the intended parties, and they teleport them to a, secure location at the bottom of the artificial um island and stuff. So what's gonna happen now is Deku is going to be taking care of all that mess, with him basically one-shotting a bunch of robbers, because technically they're not villains, they're villains, but they're like, collector villains trying to make a quick buck. They're just basic villains. Fuck it. Too much explanation and it gonna make my head burst, and I'm already getting a migraine. Screw that shit. Fuck that. Oh, that shit. So Deku did allow, cocky personality a bit, did allow one of the villains to, don the device, because he wanted a little challenge just to fucking be, because then he was bored, and he has to wait an entire month for All Might to heal up, and All Might was like, the only person, even in his weak state, to make Deku sweat. Yup. And now that All Might's, all full up, Deku is more excited than anyone to, because then they said that All Might rivaled the, original Carnage and stuff. And now that the original Carnage has gotten stronger and stuff, All Might's stronger for it. I'm not sure. We're skipping too much levels in this part. So Deku does win that fight. Y'all thought I was gonna put a lot of details into this. Now we have limited time and limited time. I said that twice. So yeah, that fight was like basically child's play for our now super OP Deku and stuff, with him, making quick work of it and stuff. Well, it wasn't like quick work. It took like 30 minutes because everyone was scattered around and stuff, and some of the villains, they, got hostages and stuff. So it was quick work in the sense that not a lot of fucking outside interference came in, and Deku took care of everything with limited casualties, but a lot of destruction. That motherfucker blow up a lot of shit. Why? Plot makes story better. That's gonna be my new word. I'm gonna say that in every video. But anyway, so boom, the month has completed, and All Might is completely healed up, and with it came that his skinny form looks more healthier than per se in canon. He's a little bit muscular and stuff, but when he puts his buff form on, he's ripped. Nigga be like cut everywhere. My boy. So technically what happened, Deku used a bunch of artificial symbiote that doesn't have any conscience or any specific motive to manipulate or eat anything. Their purpose was to find their purpose wasn't that. They just sensed the molecular structure of Carnage, and they went with it and followed that. I don't know what their plan was after that, but Deku round them up and turned them into somewhat like stem cells, and fuse them onto All Might's body, using All Might's blood as sutures and stuff. So All Might doesn't have any scars, or no one. Those who knew that he had that there wouldn't tell that it was there anymore. So those who didn't knew that it was there wouldn't know that it's there, that it was not there. I know that it makes sense. That hurt my brains as well. But anyway, we go off with All Might now at full power. And remember when I said that Carnage and All for One fused and stuff? And like that's why he didn't, interrupt with the earlier bullshit, because then he was imprisoned and stuff. So he escaped, and he finally get, met up with his little pupil, still throwing a temper tantrum of some sort. And he decided, like, easier if you abduct someone he cares about. That way we could get him alone and we could end him as such. And, Finger Guy, the guy with a mask for a hand for a fucking mask, as, kind of broke down crying, because then, Master, you're here. Where have you been? Blah, 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 bullshit. And he assures that, I am here no matter what. And the plan is now ensued to abduct someone Deku loves. And given the fact that Deku made a bunch of fucking new friends, and I didn't mean friends, a bunch of new enemies, he ain't gonna leave his mama unintended, bruh. So that's a no-no. Yeah, that's a no-no. Deku had his mom, moved from where they were and placed in a secure location where she was given a new identity, blah, blah, blah. Just because, Deku is not willing to lose anyone in his life right about now, so he made extra precaution to make extra precaution. You know what I mean? You feel me? So, the only person left for them to manipulate is Uraraka, because then she decided, like, she's always with him at school. Who want to attack her when she's with the strongest fucking character of this fucking episode? She didn't say that, but she knows that Deku is strong, so no one would attempt doing any bullshit while he's there. But y'all ain't getting this. Deku isn't here right now. So they took this opportunity, that shadow guy took this opportunity to abduct her. Not a next scene later on, they could get a text with Uraraka, stripped of her clothes, gagged, and this sent Deku in a fit of y'all gon' die, boom, his aura. Like I said, he doesn't have any flashy fucking power skills, but the energy emanating from Deku after getting that text malfunctioned all technology around him. I mean, even All Might sensed that, someone just fucked up. I mean, All Might, like, he looked at Deku, and he, in his head, like, since this is basically not a children's show, so there is going to be somewhat of killing scenes, so hold on to that situation, thought. And All Might in his head is like, someone's gonna die, someone just fucked up. He got his aura up that high, man. He went over to try to calm Deku, and Deku looked at him and tell them that they have my girl. Boom! Another pressure of fucking energy came out of Deku, with All Might reassuring that they won't do her anything. You just have to make it look like you're all alone. But because of what you did for me, boy, I got you. Hey, man, All Might not saying shit like how I'm saying it. Just interpret how All Might would say, like I'm saying it now. And, he's just telling All Might, he has his back and stuff. So, if y'all didn't notice, we didn't reference any Nomu in this situation, cause everything happened a little bit earlier than in canon. But in this part, the Nomu will be present, and they're gathering a lot of motherfuckers, because they're not only are they trying to kill Deku, they want to kill All Might too, and take the fucking hero society down a notch. Because then they think they're making other people weaker by being there for every situation and stuff. So, oh no, that's not them. That's the mafia people. Oh, anyway, and stuff. So, let's go. Deku now is finally, he left the place and finally where they told him to meet up. And he saw Uraraka dangling from off of a building or a crane, and he got more angrier than anything because then she's dangling from the crane, half naked in the cold. Deku then looks down at his party because then it's gonna be a party, and just remark one word. Like, not one word, but, just remarked, if you don't let her down, y'all not gonna see tomorrow. And they started laughing, and, the masked face guy, ordered the Nomus to step forward, and a bunch of the similar type Nomu that attacked them at the hero training facility, but not like in this one he didn't attack them, but then just for reference, that same one is being ordered to attack Deku at this moment in time, but not just only one, 4 of them with they could absorb them punches. But they underestimate Deku because he's been stronger than 20 Nomus like since he was like 9 years old. They fucked up as Deku just went on a rampage. Mind you, Deku has backup, but it didn't make any sense for Deku to fucking use his backup at this moment, because he went all old school on my motherfuckers. You heard cracking of jaws, tooth flying from corners, light show showing up just to show off that people are getting hurt and bad, like bad with mask guy telling his subordinate that used the portal thing to, like, take him out of here. They fucked up, and All For One finally shows up when Deku is finished with the last one, as All For One looks at him and tells him, so you too have the God factor. Deku pauses a little bit, but no one was more fucking frustrated and more surprised than All Might. And not only was he surprised, his body moved on its own, coming in for a fucking devastating punch, which All For One caught, and he's like, oh, All Might, how have you been? But, All Might was like, the last time I saw you, you didn't have a face and stuff. But now he has a face. That's because he's bonded with the Carnage symbiote, and the Carnage symbiote healed up his injuries nicely. Nice. Oh. And stuff. So, we hit him up with a new strategy. A big fight started with All Might and One For All, because All Might told Deku to stay out of this one, and Deku obliged and going off of whatever his name is, Todoroki or some shit, going after the guy with the fucking hand for a mask and stuff, because then he ain't done with that yet. He needs to be dangling up from that crane butt naked, just like he did to my girlfriend and to Deku's girlfriend and stuff. So Deku did follow a distance, but then noticed that the guy teleported that little coward away from there, leaving All For One and All Might to brawl it out. Deku went over up on the crane, released his girlfriend from off the crane, hugged his girlfriend, and told his girlfriend he was sorry and stuff. And she's like, she wasn't scared because she knows that he would come for her, blah blah blah. Next scene, All For One, All Might, and All Might's losing. Badly. Like I said, the God Factor enhanced Carnage's ability, and Carnage then enhanced the God Factor ability, just vice versa, making All For One basically surpassed God. Deku hasn't reached this level yet, but even if he surpassed God, he would have been stronger, way stronger, with him seeing that All Might is almost on his last leg, and All For One is now, charging up a blast to, let's just say if that blast connects, All Might's go die. Literally. Literally. With Deku then, putting Uraraka at a safe distance, telling her to activate her quirk and flirt, get far away from here, as she complies and stuff, because she she ain't gonna be useful in this moment. And if this guy has All Might leaning up, best listen to her boyfriend. I mean, like, yeah, no, she ain't messing with that. She went on with her thing, alerted everyone else, and now the fight starts with Deku and One For All. Deku is like, keeping up with One For All at this moment, but that's because One For All is like holding back a bit, but he doesn't know Deku was doing the same thing, giving All Might time to recover. Not like All Might was like, physically broken up. He was just beaten to the point that he was like temporarily out of bound. Out of bound. Let's just say he was temporarily out of bound, but the time Deku and All For One was fighting gave him enough time to recover, with him jumping right back in the fray, then causing All For One to, up the ante a bit and show that, them both ain't shit to him. And this is where the story starts changing up. All Might is already at his limit, at his full strength that he is as now, because then he's not sickly, he's not anything, and he won't revert back to, if he revert back to his skinnier state, he is still muscularly to, still look good, and, it won't shock the public. It was like, that's just how his quirk activates. That's it, basically. So, All For One doesn't have to judge shit. Yeah, so, So, we get to the point where All For One is now, beating on Deku and All Might, with Deku, All Might finally telling Deku, like, remember last time that I told you what you have inside of you is like, like a previous monster you fought, blah, 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 blah. I know you're suppressing yourself right now because you think you're a monster too, blah, 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 but show them what you could do. Show them what an MHA student can really, really do. And boom, a huge and so it was raining at this moment in time, but when Deku released his pressure or his power, it was like he created an umbrella around the entire area he was in. This is how powerful Deku's aura, his true aura is, that it made it look like it stopped raining. It's his complete surrounding is raining, but the factory he's on, it stopped. The rain ain't coming true, with him just going all out. Deactivating, limiter, deactivating, mental instability, deactivating. I don't know why I put the mental stability thing in there just now. I apologize. Hit that up in the bucket and stuff with some shit. Man. But anyway, and boom, start the battle. All Might and Deku rush into the fray. and started double banking or double teaming on fucking One For All, have all One For All, and then let out his true power. But then if it was Deku by himself, he would have stand a chance. But he's fighting Deku and All Might. And they just started wailing on my boy, fucking wailing on my boy. Carnage symbiote finally, showed himself trying to help out. But you ain't gonna do shit now and stuff. But the Carnage he was gonna do shit, and then he latched on to Deku, trying to, absorb the Carnage symbiote that Deku has. So what happened? They go into each other's mind, and all of Carnage's history flowed into Deku, and in turn flowed into Deku's Carnage, with him remembering how his birth started. But it didn't stick, because this Carnage remembers that he is his own individual Carnage. We're talking about Deku's Carnage at this moment, and the mind link severed, with them separating with a little flash in the middle, and the fight starts over again, with Deku and All Might having the advantage since there are two of them. And basically, in the definition, 3 of them and 2 of what All For One is. That's All For One and the Carnage symbiote. And we get a rumble up in here, rumble here, up in here, up in here. Y'all gonna make me act a fool up in here, up and out. Wait, hey, I could get copyrighted for that shit, right? Why do I keep doing that? Well, anyway, shit got real at the end of the situation. At the end of the fight, the last blow was given to Deku, because All Might has kind of reached his limit and is running on empty and stuff, with him pointing to Deku and telling Deku that you're the next number one, you're the next hero. Finish him. Like a Mortal Kombat scene, Deku, finish him. Had picked up a little, how you call this? A little wire, not a little wire. The wire is like really, really big and really, really thick, and it holds the crane and stuff. Pick up the wire and, lassoing it around, tied up All For One, and, started pummeling on him. Then, since the Carnage symbiote is already at the verge of losing control, lost control, and kind of blew up in a sense. But since he kind of blew up, this is not going to be the last time we see of them. Like I said, he is a perfectly fused person. One For All and the Carnage symbiote are fused, that One For All could blow up himself as well, and they won't die necessarily of normal means. At this moment, they won't die because they just blew up themselves. They just did that as a last resort to escape from the ensuing carnage that is falling upon them. And so the scene is end up with Deku holding All Might coming out of a blazed factory. And the scene was so cool that they took a picture, and that was placed in a magazine, with them trying to figure out who is this newfound hero. Oh man, this hero took on All For One and won. Oh man, damn. But anyway, they found out that this person is All Might's apprentice, and this drives the fucking League of Villains even angrier. So angry that the nigga went off to the mafia. I mean, that guy with the fucking beak for a face. Yeah, they went after him, and y'all know where it is we going with this, right? It's the Eerie episode, or the series, or the whatever episode and stuff. Yeah, because this is the finale, so I have to put all of it into one shot. I said earlier it was like probably an hour. It's going to be a little bit more than an hour. I'm thinking after it's have been an hour, I'm gonna say it's gonna be a little bit more than an hour. How fucking complacent am I? Anyway, so we get to that scene. But what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be time skipping over a lot of stuff. So they met the big tree and stuff. They fought the big tree and stuff. They figured out that the big three are different brand of heroes because they're not stronger than class A, but they have more hero experience in a sense. Not more hero experience. Their quirk is versatile to the point that even if they're strong, if they have strong opponents, they still can manage to do their stuff and stuff. So all that stuff happens. The guy that could harden himself loses. Turn into other stuff while he eats, loses his quirk by getting shot. The other guy who gets hardening. Everyone goes to the academy, the part of the training where they get to make finishing moves. That happened and stuff. And the part with DEKU and that guy that could walk through wall meeting Eerie happens, but what changes here is that they don't let Eerie walk away with the guy. They stood up for that nonsense at this moment. Eerie was trying to stop them because she knows the guy's ability, but they were like, you're eerily suspicious, and why would we let you have this little girl when y'all don't look nothing alike? And honestly, they don't look nothing alike. How can you prove that it's your baby girl and be like, prove that it's your baby girl and you ain't walking around with this girl? This is the guy that could walk through walls. So I'm not doing his voice properly. Just interpret how I'm talking as the way, not as I'm talking, but as that guy would have said some shit. But I'm doing it how I would have said it. Like me personally would have said it. So he's like, yeah, so show me some proof he's a daughter. What's her name? What's her last name? Where's she from? When she was born? And shit like that. He was asking question. He was just not asking question. He was asking question. My nigga was asking so much question that the guy just let up with that shit and started attacking both Midoriya and, that guy and stuff. Whatever. Yeah, so that fight is going to be happening right away. So Deku have this distress signal beacon that he always carries on him. In fact, all the heroes are now required to carry that on them thanks to what happened to the artificial island and what happened on the factory, what happened to MHA, what happened to the training camp, and what's happening throughout the world. So everyone is supposed to carry a distress beacon and stuff. So he plucked that shit. But the bad guy has a backup too. So he's like, he called up a bunch of his fucking goons all in one, because Deku and his guy friend, or this guy, have Eerie behind them, so they're not having this guy take Eerie away from them right about now. So they ain't waiting, they ain't investigating shit. They just fucked up all that investigation by not allowing Eerie to go with this person. Literally, I'm calling this the right thing to do. They should have done that in canon. I mean, in real life, who would have let off a little girl with some guy claiming to be their father? Technically, if that girl was like visibly showing signs that this guy fucking scares her. I mean, my bad. But we get into this because we have a few more minutes, and I'm not going to be extending it anymore, so we have to finish it off here, and we're going to be finishing off after we kick this guy's booty like, ooh. So he hasn't meet up with a League of Villain yet, so you notice, right? So this is like a total different moment that will make the League of Villain and the Mafia join forces up later on. And if I actually bring up this again, I'll start off a what if from here, you know, like it'll be season 2 from here, right? You know, so hit them up with a new style, get them on the train. So a big fight start happening in the city. So heroes that were nearby were instructed to evacuate as many people as possible, because then they know the mafia's reputation at this moment in time. And yeah, then shit gonna get dirty right now. And it did started getting dirty with a few explosion in the background while people were evacuating and stuff like this. And some of the heroes trying their best to stop the debris from going any further, from harming any of the civilians in the background. And the big fight started, you know, and DEKU and his, you know, that guy, phasey guy or ghost guy. I'm just gonna call him Ghost Guy because I can't really remember his name right now. Ghost Guy started fighting, and at this moment in time, they don't have the cork remover bullets, so y'all know it's gonna be a fair fight from here. And as the fight started, you know, going, as the fight was going on, more villains starts appearing. But not only more villains starts appearing, more heroes starts appearing, with one specific hero in mind making you know, the biggest scenery entrance of all times. Boom! No need to fear, I am here. I am All Might, and I am here. But he wasn't rocking his buff form. He was rocking his skinny form at this moment, because he still can do all that shit in his skinny form. In fact, saying that in his skinny form he's faster, you know, per se. I'm not really so sure about that. Let me check. So yeah, I'm just gonna say he in his skinnier form he's faster, so he used his skinnier form to get to that specific location, to DEKU's beacons faster, you know, man, and stuff. So yeah, the fight start, and DEKU instructed Night Eye, because Night Eye arrived, and yo, you remember that vision that Night Eye had? He doesn't have it anymore. He has a vision where DEKU is standing over the city, and peace has, you know, successfully reigned throughout the era. I mean, DEKU was just standing there, basically admiring that sooner or later the existence of heroes won't be a thing. You know, you know, and stuff. 'Cause, yeah, he's more than the number one hero. He's the greatest symbol of the world in the future. At this moment, as he met DEKU in real life, he's like, da 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 da. Instructed everyone to take that boy's lead. Do whatever he says. He then instructed Night Eye to take the little girl and put her in a secure location. And we're going to be taking care of all, you know, this mannerism at this moment in time. With the fight finally coming to its conclusion, it was just DEKU and, you know, that guy, who then, you know, broke apart a lot of his, you know, subordinate and fused it to himself, making him even bigger than in canon and stuff, and grosser than in canon and stuff. And DEKU now, you know, in control of his God factor, which evolved while fighting All For One. Just, you know, color of it similar to in canon when he fought with Eerie on his back. Similar in canon that way. His hair started glowing and his body started muscular, you know, protruding muscles. Not like, you know, his cuts started fake, you know, showing out and stuff, and he started doing his thing, moving faster than than the eye could see. Not the speed of light, but faster than the eye could see. You know how fast a motherfucker? Oh yeah, a bullet is fast and you can't see that shit. But anyway, that happens, and Deku is fighting for dear fucking no, not Deku. That guy is fucking defending for dear life because Deku's all over the place doing fly kicks, punches, kicks again, some blows, some kicks, some fucking. I said blows, but he been fucking up till it was left that a body, just the torso was left, and Deku lessen the percentage of his power to give the guy a punch in the face so hard that KO. Oh, I don't know why I did that in there. So that stopped and stuff. So we're gonna have a little individual stuff with. So Night Eye doesn't die. A bunch of hero doesn't die. What basically more happened is that the city got more destroyed than in canon and stuff, and also like just per se more injuries than in canon. Because in some civilian did get hurt, but not to the point of life threatening and stuff. You know what I mean? So we're enough with couple of time skip a few months later, and they're having a festival with Eri being a big part of why this festival is happening. So we get that guy, the Master Thief thingy. That fight does happen, but Deku easily won that fight, and telling the guy to revert to his evil way, stop robbing people. That shit ain't good. And the festival happened without a hitch, with Eri finally smiling because of the dance and stuff. And Deku was better than anyone in the whole thing because everyone was more focused on Deku's shit and stuff. But anyway, so everything is going to be ending off at a happy ending right now. So this is where we're going to be ending next off. So we're going to be waiting off for a couple more subscribers, maybe a couple more 100 subscribers, for me to be releasing off season 2 of What If Deku Was Carnage. I will be doing a season 2 because then I enjoy doing it. Don't forget to check out all the links in the description, such as Six Master, who created our thumbnail and background feed for y'all to enjoy. Also, Kid Zeus of Kid Zeus Studios. I know he's a little bit creepy, but he's still a great G under the fact. Zoku Meister, Liam Meister, number 8, just to name a few. The links all will be in the description. Like I said in the beginning, go over to their pages and tell them the Carnage Man sent you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. The subscribe will be helpful. I'm not saying the subscribers, whatever you want to put it as, and stuff. Also, tomorrow I will be posting another What If, not general, I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm really having fun with this. I'm glad y'all y'all like my content to the point and stuff. So yeah, keep supporting, showing the love, and I'll keep making the videos and trying to improve as best as I can, because then I know I can be what I want. I keep doing that shit, right? I don't know why, but what song pop in my head, I sing that shit. Why? Because I like singing that shit. Be that, never mind. But anyway, this is your unfriendly neighbor Kevin Carnage, and I'll see you in the next one. Give me a moment while I annoy my cat to get up, because it's about 3 o'clock in the morning and I am recording a video. Yo, no, say something. Holla at a nigga.